Welcome back to A Game of Thrones and to a whole new adventure as voted on by you guys in the last episode. I basically said after the Jesus Toad series, do we want to continue on with Game of Thrones? And basically it was a unanimous yes, please do. So there's going to be the final part of the Topbog trilogy, and for those of you who haven't seen the past two Game of Thrones series that we've done, I will do a quick recap in a second of what's happened in the world. But this is a fresh save game, so hopefully we shouldn't have any crashes or conflicts, but our characters from the previous games and all their conquests and such things will be added to this one as well. So for this campaign, I kind of brought it up a couple of episodes, and you guys gave me some suggestions. We are actually going to play in the ruins of Old Valyria here. So this is regular Valyria, which blew up quite horribly and flooded, basically due to some volcanoes going off. Magical volcanoes, though, so it's more interesting. We're playing in North Valyria, which is still Valyrian, but has kind of lost the old ways. Mantaris, in particular, is affected by people who are mutated. They're affected by the radiation there, and they become like horrible, you know, you get in game, you actually get the traits like dwarf, club-footed, things like that. Then you have Tolos, which is quite far away from Valyria at this stage, more detached, much less culture, but we are going to play on the very tiny island of Elyria, probably the closest to mainland Valyria here. You know, the Land of the Long Summer was part of true Valyria, so we're kind of the closest there, seeing as Mantaris is cut off by this bit. So we're going to be playing as Elyria, the Lord of Elyria. We are going to play as an Illyrian character, which isn't the traditional High Valyrian culture, but we are going to try and resurrect it in-game. So there are High Valyrians still around. There are a couple that escaped the doom of Valyria when it exploded and went to Westeros. So there's House Valyrian, House Celtigar, and House Targaryen. We're currently playing, actually, in 8216, which is 60 years before Robert Baratheon conquered the Iron Throne, took it from, usurped it from Aenys Targaryen. So, or was it Aenys or Aerys? I don't remember. I think it was Aerys Targaryen. Anyway, 60 years before that, and I think we've been playing about 200 years since we first started this sort of mega campaign we've had going on. It first started when Aegon the Conqueror landed in Westeros, and now we are coming to the end of the Targaryen reign in approximately, like I said, 60 years' time. So, our goal, we're going to become a worshipper of the Lord of Light, because I feel like what's the point of worshipping the Valyrian gods when clearly they did nothing to save this mess? We're going to go for the Lord of Light. I've never done the Lord of Light playthrough, and the ultimate goal is to push away the shadow unleashed by Topbog Spoff, the Hand of Chaos who unleashed the old gods under Leng. Our goal is going to try and seal it back up. We're going to try and stop Topbog and his madness. So I have tested a couple of colonized Valyria submods and that type of thing as well, but unfortunately none of them are really suitable for what we want. None of them really work either. None of them have been updated for about a year, so I'm going to move away from that idea, and instead we'll try and forge a new Valyrian empire, I think. We'll resurrect the culture, like I said, by educating our heir in the Valyrian way. I don't want to start as it, because I want to give us a little more challenge, but Volantis, one thing I did want to mention is Volantis is sort of the equivalent of what the Byzantine Empire was to Rome. So Volantis considered themselves the successors to Valyria. So taking out these boys, or at least, you know, maybe annexing them or something, might not be a bad idea. Now, not only that, we do have some Valyrian core lands here. So Anagaria, Draconis, and Elyria are all Valyrian lands, but they're all ruined. So these are the ones we can actually colonize, and obviously annexing Tolos and Mantaris should be our first port of call as well. I'm not really sure whether to carve out a new empire around here in the Dothraki area and sort of kick those boys out, because the Valyrian Freehold was massive, right? It was all of these sort of Essosi, all of the free cities they're called, but all of the cities in Essos, all the way around up through into Lorath here. So from Lorath to Braavos, down to Lys, and then across to Tolos. Sort of that square. That's also not where Lorath is. They must have colonized that, but Sarnor it was called before it was ruined. So all of this area was Valyria. So we could try and take back a lot of this, reclaim some of the Dothraki areas and rebuild it, because this is all nomadic, right? So it'd be kind of cool if we build a new Valyria rather than just, you know, colonize the old crappy one. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's make our boy. So ethnicity doesn't really matter too much. I mean, they all look the same, don't they? Oh, apparently High Valyrians have bright white hair, so we'll go for that one just to keep the culture going, I guess. Now, what? Oh my god, these boys all look hideous. I'm going to go random, and I'm going to say stop anytime around now. Alright, there we go. A stern-looking man whose mouth is far too close to his chin. That's fine. Far too close to his chin. Far too close to his nose. I'll say that. Alright, and of course the flag. The classic, important flag here. Now, seeing as we're changing religion, I probably shouldn't spend too much time with this, eh? So I won't worry about that for now. So religion, we are actually going to go for the Eastern gods, and we're going to go for R'hllor. I've never played R'hllor, and it's also closely related to the Valyrian faith anyway. They both worship fire. They're both, you know, fans of dragons. Playing as a R'hllor character will give you a bonus to dragon hatching and taming anyway. One sort of descends from the other. R'hllor sort of took over when the Valyrian religion failed, so that kind of makes sense. We will go for Now, what type of characters do you want to make start off with? Seeing as we're playing on a single island, and I'd really love to test out the new banking system. I've re-enabled that for the series just to see if it works with the fresh install. So we will go for the banking aspect of things. So I'm going to go Brilliant Steward. Now, you can build a bank if you are a single province. If your domain size is 1, which it will be because we're in Elyria. So I think turning this into a little powerhouse, you know, bringing in a lot of gold, doing the whole banking system, maybe doing a bit of raiding here and there if we can. Culture, Illyrian is fine. Now for the most important part of all, what are we going to call the house? Man, this is difficult. So, first name, who have we had? We've had Topbog Spoff. We've had Chotoad. There's sort of a phonetic theme here that I need to stick to. I've tried to keep it as Valyrian as possible. We are playing as Brapaeryan Zapaeryan. Of course, because all the Valyrian names have that, right? So it's like Valyrian, Targaryen. They all have that sort of Ian sound in it somewhere. So Brapaeryan Zapaeryan, I think, is pretty good. Now, this dude don't want to be too OP. We are going to be playing small, so it's going to be a very easy game. We'll probably be hit by Slave Raid, because this is Slavers Bay, right? Marine, Yunkai, and Astapor. These are the really hard slavers who will probably be coming over and raiding us quite frequently. So I think somebody who's capable of running the round, but not necessarily someone who's incredibly good at martial, because we're going to be playing very defensively, I think, to start off with here. What about, like, Disfigured by Grayscale? So it's -3 diplomacy, -5 general opinion, -20 attraction, but it's -18. Could we take that and attractive? I'm going to assume they cancel each other out, but this might be some good metagaming we got going on here. Disfigured by... You can take both. Do they not cancel each other out? So diplomacy +1, attraction opinion +30. That one is... So we get +10 to our attraction. We've got -2 diplomacy right now, but we have attractive, which obviously we can pass on to our heirs. So I'm actually kind of happy to roll the dice on that one. What about going for giant rather than... Because that's basically going to give us a few extra points, and this gives attraction opinion. Dothraki opinion, personal combat. Oh, that's more if you're doing a melee character. Okay, fair enough then. We will go for, like I said before, we will go for attractive and disfigured by grayscale. Mainly because it costs us 2 points there. I'd like to go with someone who's a genius to really start off with. That would be insanely good. I'm going to try and get genius somehow. See if we can't mess around with this somewhat. What could we go for? Like crippled? So that's a serious injury in the past. It's personal combat, attraction opinion, Dothraki opinion. Fertility -30% is pretty terrible, eh? We've also got disfigured. I feel like disfigured by grayscale and regular disfiguring is probably too much. Rude? Diplomacy again. I can't really afford to take any more diplomacy at this stage. Lord Brapaeryan Zapaeryan, I think, is finished here. So he has 15 diplomacy, 10 martial, 13 stewardship, 12 intrigue, and 10 learning. 4 health, because he is a drunkard. Why is he a drunkard? Well, he was a former slave, hence why he hates the Slavers Bay. A simple slave who rose to becoming a noble, I think, is a pretty good story here. So he's probably going to be big enemies with Topbog Spoff, big enemies with our previous character, Jesus Toad, and his descendants. But because he was a slave, he drinks a lot and eats a lot because he didn't obviously have that in his early life there. And also uncouth because he was never really, he was never really accustomed to taking care of himself because of the whole slavery thing. Cynical because the world has not been exactly kind to him even though he has risen to power. That's because of his mighty intellect and his selfish nature has taken him far. Good. This is a good backstory for our boy, Lord Brapaeryan of Elyria. Let me just make sure all the rules are right and then we are good to go. So, for those of you who don't know the scenario, who don't know what happened in the past couple of seasons, maybe you didn't watch it, seasons? Wow, that's a bit too grand. For the past 2 seasons, past 2 playthroughs of the Game of Thrones, we have been sort of building up this big world with several different characters here. So, obviously, we are Lord Brapaeryan Zapaeryan of Valyria here. I really want to play as... Oh, shit, I played as Valyrian rather than Lord of the Light. Well, that doesn't matter too much. We can convert to the Lord of the Light, and obviously we can take on our High Valyrian culture as well. That could be part of the challenge. I did want to do that with High Valyrian anyways, try and resurrect a dying culture, because I thought that'd be quite fun. But, for those of you who don't know, we've had some pretty interesting playthroughs. So we started off over in Asshai for Series 1 as Topbog Spoff, the Hand of Chaos. So this dude, we originally played as his father. His father was sent into exile to one of these islands over here, and Topbog tamed a dragon, returned and conquered the entirety of Asshai and the Yeti Emperor. He has changed it. He used to be the Jet Black Emperor, now he's the Sea Green Emperor. I guess he's going for a much more, a much less horrifying approach this time, seeing as he did, under Leng, unleash the Old Gods, which is a mechanic in game whereby you can go to this island here. There are forbidden labyrinths, and if you are a lunatic character, as Topbog Spoff is, you can unleash them on the world, and they spread something called the Scourge. So he has done that in this playthrough, because if we take a look here, we can see that he has the Blood of the Hand of Chaos. Topbog, the Hand of Chaos Spoff, unsealed the ancient labyrinths on Lang, unleashing the scourge of the old ones upon the world. So that is a disease that will basically spread across Lang, across UT, and eventually will head over into regular Essos given enough time. So our goal really is to go and stop him before it spreads over to and destroys what's left of Valyria. You know, we're trying to save our people here, and that's probably the biggest threat. Now, after that series, after we'd successfully destroyed the world, or at least doomed it, we played over in the Pirate Isles and the Corsair Isles, obviously, as the Toad Dynasty. Now, we were the last Gogosossi, Gogosos being a Valyrian colony on this island here. What was called the Isle of Tears is now called Gogosos. We played originally as Chode Toad, the last surviving Gogosossi man, as I said, repelled the other Corsairs, reformed the religion into a sort of hybrid of the Gogosossi Corsair ways and the Valyrian religion, which is native to, well, not really native to the Isle, but what the Isle was under for hundreds and hundreds of years. And this is our current character, Emperor Balasso, who we left off with last season, Toad, the Grey Eminence, and these are all the traits. And this is just basically the character copied over from the last series. Same with Topbog as well. So his face looks slightly different, though. I'm not sure why that is, seeing as I haven't changed it. It might be because we're using the in-game Gogosos culture rather than the one I built, just because I've sort of learnt my lesson with modding the Game of Thrones one. It's pretty unstable as it is, so making all my own alterations and changes probably didn't help the whole crashing thing. Anyway, so we have Emperor Balasso here of the Gogosossi Sea, who conquered all of Sothorios and eventually conquered, but we didn't get to see this in the series, unfortunately, conquered the rest of the Summer Isles as well and became the Emperor of the new Gogosossi Sea there. Now, one thing I did say I would do is all of the houses that you see here are the houses of the patrons. So hopefully we're going to see the patrons doing things during this series, killing one another, preferably, but also going out and sort of conquering their own realms. I think it'd be pretty cool. If you're a patron and you haven't got your name in the game, I'll go through them all in a second, but if you haven't got your name in the game, send a message to me on Discord or on Patreon, and obviously I will add those. We have House Sossig, House Erenes. It would be probably easier to just go to this dude and look at his vassals here. So, Ex-Lupus, Jeremiason, Two-Pump Chump Hoeth, Pelvis Gate, Orcs Court, great name there, Erenes Sossig, we've seen Stella, Sirathai, Galileo, Galaxy, Vasquez, Aurelis. Some of these are base game ones, because we had way more, like I thought we would in the last series, we had way more lands than what, you know, we had patrons who wanted houses. So if you, like I said, haven't got yours in, let me know. Pelagia, Euphrates, Eternal President Diswaltney, great name, Ravenoft, Algorath, and then some other random vassals that have somehow survived this big conquest. So that is the current scenario. And we are, of course, Brapaeryan Zapaeryan of Elyria. Right, so wow, this is going to be a hell of a playthrough. It's going to be very, very difficult, seeing as we are on this very small island. Once again, I'm not playing with Flame Queen's building submod, because I want to keep things fairly balanced and fairly crash-free. So what are we starting off with here? We've got a large Illyrian castle, plenty of taxes, plenty of troops. That's quite nice to see. A tiny slave camp. So, ironically, Lord Brapaeryan here, I assume, has just come into power. Let's take a look at the history. So, our predecessor, Vakar Ilvar, who's probably not a big fan of us, seeing as we have his, as we took his realm. We should probably abolish slavery as this dude. I think we should be a liberator, and we should probably go to war with the Merian Yunkai Nasport, as we are a former slave there. So we will probably go to war for those. Try and abolish it in our own realm as well. Speaking of which, what are we looking at for our realm right now? So, we're actually doing pretty well. The council is empowered, but we have control over everything. In terms of the realm itself, we have nothing, because we are just a tiny little, I think we're a titular duchy, right? No, we are a de jure duchy, but we are only a single province. And then there is the Empire of New Valyria, which is our sort of de jure empire here. Should we take a look at that one? So this is what that consists of. Very large, indeed. We could try and remake this, but it would be incredibly difficult. Plus, obviously, our goal lies in destroying Topbog there over to the Far East. So I think what we should do is actually forge a new Valyrian Empire. Maybe take North Valyria, you know, Slavers Bay, sort of more easterly. So these are called the Bone Mountains. I think a big empire west of the Bone Mountains, wiping out all the Dothraki, would be a lot cooler for us there, rather than trying to rebuild the old stuff. And I think, obviously, becoming the R'hllor ruler that we wanted to is a good plan as well. Okay, Lord Brapaeryan of Elyria, what are we going to do with you then? First things first, I think we should probably try and get some heirs so we don't get an immediate game over. So I'm going to go for the seduction focus. I'm going to go for, we could go get married. Now, I think with R'hllor, are you allowed, so you can take up to 7 lovers, slaves, or captives as concubines. Right, so with the seduction focus, we could just go around seducing women, obviously taking them as our concubines. There is no manual right-click, sort of say if you're playing Norse in base game CK2. You can't just right-click on a character and set them as your concubine. You do have to have them as, like I said there, your lover, your slave, or your captive. And also there are no secondary wives or anything like that, so go in seduction focus, maybe stacking up a bunch of wives to start off with, not a bad idea, just to ensure that we're not going to die out instantly. Oh shit, now we've also got drunkard. We might want to get rid of that as soon as possible, so going for theology, rulership, or hunting, I believe, all give a chance of getting rid of drunkard and gluttonous as well. Can we join any societies? That's probably a good question. Let's see here. Temple of the Great Other. Oh god. There are those who serve the Great Other, dedicated to depravities and perfideries in the Lord of Darkness. Every transgression is a prayer, every murder is a roar of defiance against the word of the law of light. Okay, so this is the worshipping the shadow. Basically what we did is Topbog Spoff there. Just probably another generic devil worshipper society. We've got the Old Way, which is Ironborn, Dothraki Riders, which is Dothraki, Free Folk, which is Wildlings, and then the Citadel, which I don't know how you join that one. If you're erudite, really? Oh, and if you have a domain size of 1. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so if we get scholar, astronomer, calligrapher, oh sorry, cartographer, traveler, linguist, erudite, lunatic, or mystic. So basically if we get erudite, we could potentially join the Citadel because we have that domain size. That might be something worth doing during this early game and actually seeing what we get out of that. Write a great work, hold a grand... Oh, so this is Hermetics. It's got to be just Hermetics, isn't it? Theorem paper, milk of the poppy, removes depressed and stressed. Yeah, it really is. This is quite cool that you can join it, but only if you're, you know, quite a small character. It lets you play tall quite well. Oh, that's a nice little feature. And then, of course, we can also, as a single domain size county here, found a bank, to my knowledge. I can't see the decision, but I believe if you have a domain size of 1, you're allowed to also, like I said, found a bank. Maybe we're not supposed to have slavery. Maybe it's only certain religions as well. I'm not entirely sure how it works there. Maybe you have to be a republic. You know, that would make a lot more sense, seeing as it's only Karth, and I believe it's Karth and Bravos that both start with banks, and seeing as those are both, as you can see here, republic characters. Maybe that's the case. Either way, it doesn't matter too much. I do want to join the Masters, though. I think that'd be kind of cool, or the Maesters at the Citadel. So we need the Erudite. So maybe getting Scholarship would be a very good way to really kickstart this boy. Very smart character, a learned character, and that's sort of how he's got to power. Right, what else have we got? Special character. Oh, yes, we can set a crown focus in Elyria. Trade post. Let's take a look at our trade routes going on here. So Mantaris has one. I don't believe we can build them, though, can we? No. Cantiona has to be... Oh, no, you know what? We absolutely can. It just has to be coastal. Sweet, so we could actually grab one of those if we want to. Oh, that's all of the following is true. Right, so we've just got to be the county owner. Yeah. So if we siege Mantaris, we could potentially build a trade post there and obviously get on board with the, apparently, the Associate trade route. Cool. So, you need to find yourself a wife as soon as possible. Honestly, pal, you've got your work cut out for you here, seeing as you are disfigured, uncouth, drunkard, gluttonous. This is going to be difficult, I think. Right, do we have any female courtiers who are unmarried? So let's go ahead and check our court for a start. So, I guess... Oh, you know what we do want? We want High Valyrian, don't we? Let's take a look if there are any Targaryens kicking around who might want to join our court. Holy shit, there actually are. Join court, yes. Women? There are. Oh, they're Westerosi Valyrian, though. She is High Valyrian. Shiera Seastar. Okay, that's cool. So Shiera Seastar is actually a... a historic character in the Game of Thrones world. Now, she, to my knowledge, flew her dragon down Sothorios and tried to find the edge of the world and never could find it. I'm pretty sure that's her anyway. She would make a very, very good wife. Even if she is 37, she's master seductress, lustful. I think you will do here. Let's try and seduce Shiera Seastar. She will be mine. Member of House Targaryen. Have her educate any children that come about, plus she's erudite too, which gives them an education bonus. Have her educate any children that come about, and then they will also get the High Valyrian culture. What are we? We're Illyrian that gives 100% dragon hatching, 400% dragon taming. Now, she was... what exactly? So, as High Valyrian, you get 3,000% chance to tame. Holy shit, that's so much better. Some carefully placed words can easily be overheard by notorious gossip. Okay, I need another tactic, sure. Apparently this is going to be quite difficult because she is a master seductress and lustful. I won't give up just yet. We will get you. Oh, shit. And then we also got Daemon Blackfire in our court. I don't know why he's come along. Did he just come along with his sister, was it? I have no idea. So, the Blackfires are descendants of Aegon the Unworthy. So this was Aegon the Fifth, I believe, had a load of bastard children, as you can see there, shit tons of them. Daemon Blackfire was one of them, and so was Aegon Bittersteel. They founded the Golden Company and are basically claimants to the Iron Throne, because they're bastards. This one was actually firstborn. He should have been the one in line, but his brother, or Daemon Blackfire, sorry, should have been the first in line, but I believe they're they fought over the throne, and the second-born son actually got it, and this guy was... he legitimized all his bastards on death, Aegon, which is why the other guy should have got it but didn't. It's pretty confusing, but that's kind of cool that we've got all these historic characters turning up in our court. Oh shit, I sent Shara a beautiful necklace covered... I uncovered her room with wildflowers, but I've heard nothing back from her. It could be worse. Could be worse. We might die childless. That would be worse. Oh, shit. Today I found my bed full of wilted petals and a bent rusty nail on my pillow. Oh, yeah. Well, how about this, then? How about we just don't give you a choice in the matter? Real shame. I did kind of want us to do so that we could take other characters, but that's fine. Fulfilled the ambition to get married. She's a highborn lady. She's in our court. You know what? It might work. Emphasis on might work here. Why don't you like us? Is it because of the whole... repelled, disfigured, uncouth, gluttonous, selfish, drunkard, foreigner, drunkard, disfigured by Greystale again? Holy shit. Yeah, sorry about that. Is there anything we can do? We can make her our designated regent. She's not a terrible character, so that's not a bad plan. Right, let's go and find someone else then. Another High Valyrian character, or at least genius or anything like that. Man, all of them want to join our court. Why? Is it because we're the only other Valyrian... I guess we're not even Valyrian, though. We're... I guess it's maybe because our cultures are closely related. Let me just double check this. It's actually every character in the world. I feel like the game is bugging out here. Let me just... Yes Men are now turned on. So Yes Men... That means it's not on in the first place. So the way Yes Man works is all characters will agree to join the court no matter what. I think the game is just bugging out. Maybe if I reload it, it'll fix it. There we go. That looks a little more believable. I'm not sure what the hell was going on there. But hey, at least we got a cool wife out of it, so I'm not complaining too much. Right. So basically, just fingers crossed, eventually we will get a kid out of her. She is lustful and master seductress there, so should be fairly straightforward and attractive, of course. What have we got? Success and nomination. Oh, we could host a wedding feast to try and increase the chance there. Absolutely. What better way of legitimizing your reign from raising up from being just a very smart slave to overthrowing the previous ruler and obviously taking control than marrying a very highborn woman here. So I feel like that might help solidify Shadowmen Revolt. Oh, you know what, Topbog Spoff, you're on your own with that one. We've spent a whole series dealing with that shit. I don't want to spend another series hearing about it. Jesus. Alright, the best part about holding a wedding is organizing the whole event. Do we want to spend lavishly to show our house's power and put us into bankruptcy? So what I found online, what I was reading on the forums, is if we do this one, we always become fat. And I think the last thing we need is our wife any more repulsed by her. So I'm going to spend enough to make it nice. Not quite put us into complete debt there. And we are going to invite King Heiress of the Iron Throne to our feast. Sure, why the hell not? Kingslander? He's no longer Valyrian. Weird, okay. When I opened the door, I saw no one, but as I stepped aside, a group of acrobats cartwheeled, somersaulted, and tumbled in. Spent 10 gold. We are now in debt. Good work, team. I feel like this is a great start to the marriage. It will be a glorious ceremony. Welcome to the wedding. Holy shit. Princess Daenerys. That's not Daenerys Targaryen. This is another Daenerys. Prince Brynden. Well, it is Daenerys Targaryen, but it's not the Daenerys Targaryen from the show or anything. Prince Brynden, King Aerys, Prince Maekar, Mia, Gwenys, Arrhagar, and Salamera. Whoever the hell these people are. Welcome. Here I stand before the Lord of Light, take up the vows of marriage with Shara Targaryen. That seems like a pretty good way to solidify your rule, like I said. This guy was being a shit. The court jester was being an idiot. Get out of here. Lose 20 prestige. The wedding feast was turning vacuous. The bandy was... Bandy. The brandy, funnily enough, was flowing, and all the guests were up and dancing. Balmoris and Maena seemed particularly enamored and were soon seen leaving together, presumably to a more private location. Good for them. This guy gains 5 prestige. Thank you for that. That's very important to my rule. And they will finally be bundled into their bedchamber where they were finally left alone. A fine tradition. Brapaeryan and Shara shall be bedded. So that, I believe, gives you a high chance of getting an heir as well. Vassal opinion +5. Now, the real question is, do we have any vassals? We have the Temple of Elyria, who is under a Storm Singer, so a different religion to us. Although, because we are Eastern, because we are part of the Eastern Gods group, they do get a +5 opinion with us. Can I get rid of you, though? Should we just start revoking all titles and dish them out to people of our religion and our culture? Yeah, we are going to be taking that one, thank you. Right, and we'll give that out to a Lord of Light vassal instead. Then we've also got the City of Elyria, which we could... Hey, there we go. That's pretty decent. We could go ahead and revoke the City of Elyria from Arrhagar. Yeah, he's the wrong religion, I'm afraid. Sorry, pal. I know it's vassal opinion -15, but we don't have any vassals to upset. So we actually can't hold the city, which is a little bit of a shame, but we will give that to a new vassal who loves us. And with that one, we will give it to the Lord of Light. There we go. We've sort of reunified the realm there. My wife seems to be going through a particularly harsh pregnancy. Oh, God. Please don't die. That would suck. Difficult pregnancy, pregnant. So it will say when it's the final months, won't it? I need to keep a close eye on this one. Alright, here we go. Please be a son who's preferably... Okay, we can flatter it. There we go. Nice. Please be a son who is definitely a genius. It's a daughter. Oh my god, of course it would be an attractive genius daughter. Of course it would be. We had a daughter called Naera. You are going to be called basically whatever the random button lands on, and then I'm going to change it so it's at least somewhat funny. Daenerys. Is that it's like the knockoff of Daenerys? Why don't we chuck in some more vowels there? I feel like there's really not enough going on here. There we are. Perfect. My daughter, the firstborn of House Zapaeryan. Heraceresis of House Zapaeryan. Welcome. If only you could have been born a boy, but you know what? Let's not worry about it too much. So you need to be educated by... Oh, I should have picked heritage instead to guarantee that they would take on that High Valyrian culture. But there is still a chance they can do it anyway, so we'll go for that one. Can we change to faith? Which point they'll adopt? Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Man, I should have gone with faith instead, but at least I'll remember that for if we have a son now. Could we potentially make it agnatic cognatic? No, yes we can. If we reign for 10 years, no vassals have a negative opinion of us. What the hell? Why have you got a negative opinion, my dude? Oh, because we're gluttonous, cynical, drunkard, and grayscale. Fair enough. That's understandable then. We need to get rid of drunkard. Give a dude a temple. Apparently he still hates us. Unbelievable. So we could flip over to agnatic cognatic and just play as Saeris Zapaeryan, which isn't a bad idea, seeing as she does have... playing as an attractive woman in Game of Thrones is very, very powerful, because obviously you get plus 20 with all the male rulers, which, by the way, is basically everyone. So that will work out really, really well for us. You would be a good backup child, I think. The council is okay. Those that hate us are highly skilled, and those that aren't highly skilled don't hate us, so it's not like they're taking too much of a slot there. Oh, our spy master isn't a big fan of us. Probably because we've just moved in with a whole different religion, and we're sort of kicking out the natives. We might want to focus on employing a new courtiers for a while, so going for like a new spy master, hoping for someone half decent. It could have been worse, I guess. Fine. Just because I don't particularly want a spy master that hates me, you'll do. Right, there we go. Welcome. 27. Court position is fine. Actually, like I said, 18 minus 32. It's worth keeping around a highly skilled character if they don't like us at this stage, mainly because, you know, there's a cooldown on how many characters we can employ. Everything's looking fine besides that. We've got a really, really good chief general. Now, what type of fortifications are we looking at? We have a fort level of 8, which is good, because obviously they can't just turn up and burn the place down. Eastern Shipyard. That's cool. Plus 100 galleys. Holy shit. Do we have any cultural bonuses? Traditional slaver culture. Ironic. Blind characters cannot inherit titles. Okay, so we've got some Byzantine style stuff there. So multiple patriarchs, multiple high priests. The high priest can excommunicate. That's cool if faithful authority is high enough. Religion allows women to hold temple holdings. R'hllor men can take up 7 levels. We've seen that. Can become favored or chosen by R'hllor, and so gain access to mysterious protection and healing abilities. That's what we want to get. So if we become fire obsessed, if we become, if we have a dragon as well, I believe it increases the chance. But basically having traits related to the religion, related to fire, becoming zealous as well is obviously very useful for that. You can become chosen by R'hllor, you can become resurrected, so if you get killed in combat, you'll just immediately come back to life. It does take a toll, so you might lose a leg or something like that, but you will still be alive, which is incredible. That seems very, very useful. Oh my god, obtain Dragon Egg? Do I want to go for that this early on? I feel like having a son just to start off with is probably not a bad idea, but we will try and go for that Dragon Egg as well at some stage. This dude becoming a Dragon Rider, I feel like it's just gotta happen. The last Valyrian, or one of the last Valyrians kicking around. There aren't many left. These boys have all mutated. These boys have sort of are not so connected to Valyrian anymore. One of the last true Valyrians, anyway. We should really be focusing on the whole Dragonlord aspect of things, I think, and showing Topbog Spoff who the real Dragonlord is. Right, court tutor. We could go with Shara, because if we make a court tutor, she's automatically put in charge of educating all the children and increasing the chance of obviously getting High Valyrian. If we could convert Elyria from Illyrian to High Valyrian, that would be incredibly cool. And obviously converting the religion as well. Jesus, I forgot about that. Okay. You, my friend, you're fired. Thank you. You, oh my god, 23 learning on our Red Priest is very lucky. You can proselytize. Try and turn these heathens into worshippers of the true Lord. Alright, and who else hasn't got anything to do? Guess just collect taxes for now. What are our taxes looking like? 2.36. Yeah, this is going to take a while, I think, to turn any profit. And honestly, I guess I wasn't too far off when I was saying one of the last true Valyrians. Like, keeping High Valyrian alive is going to be quite difficult at this stage, seeing as the House Targaryen are apparently like Kingslanders. Some are Westerosi Valyrian, which is a... Okay, so these ones are actually one of the last surviving amounts, but some are Westerosi Valyrian, so when you've lived in Westeros for a while, it's like a melting pot culture, right? When you're no longer High Valyrian, but you convert into sort of this hybrid culture. I don't know why you'd ever do it, because it's a lot worse than just staying as High Valyrian. This dude becoming Kingslander is just an affront, honestly. I think he's a traitor. This is good, though. This is kind of cool that we've managed to grab ourselves that High Valyrian start off with there. This is going to be a fun campaign, and I hope you guys like the idea we've got going on here. Do I want to join the Temple of the Great Other just to be able to do something? No, I think we wanted to stick with the Citadel, don't we? I think that'd be kind of cool, because we've never looked at this society before, so this is going to be something new for everyone. Of course, thank you all for watching. Again, if you've got any suggestions for this campaign before we really dive into it here, let me know. My god, I've just noticed that Dothraki horde to the north there. Jesus. Okay, we'll worry about that later on. And if you have any changes you'd like to see, let me know. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it. And I'm going to give a shout out to all of the patrons for making this series possible in the first place, without which we would be, well, not here, to be honest with you. Big Dick Timmy, Tom Taylor 18, Harik, Lucas Holting, Sean Thornton, Loris, Haydog, Sidini, Necrophilan, Asuna Kirito, Facundo Vasquez, I'm the Lizard King, Josh Lynn, Dean Tesla, Michael Mullen, Tyler Birch, Palvis Presley, Logan Thorne, Conspired T, Orcswolf, Average Gamer 419, Escape, and Vacuous Bacchus. Thank you all for your support. Who apparently I said that name right. I still don't think I'm saying that name right, but apparently I said that name right, so I'm going to trust you on that one. And, of course, a big shout as well to Nathaniel Lindbergh, Euphrates, Jimmy, Quasar Fox, Jack Allen, Gabriel Van Ders, Llewellyn Thomas, Nathan Flores, Euron DeVries, Duncan 2 and 7, Zet McDougal, Joseph Beard, Jordan Campbell, Harry McGowan, Will Wade, Chris, Sir Thor the Swede, The Sage, Astro, Nick, French Brennan, Kevin Saunders, Betimus Max, The Insane Pickle, Adam Person, Igor Kozak, Haji Dumar, Noah Gallimore, Pantpill, and Alpha Scuff. If any of you guys haven't had your houses added to the Goga Saucy Sea, let me know and I will put you all in game somewhere.